The beginnings of the Anglo-Cherokee War can be traced to the late summer of 1758, when 40 Cherokee warriors, these guys that had been fighting on behalf of the British and the colonists, were murdered by Virginians. These murders, coupled with betrayals, abuses, and murders in South Carolina, led to a war between former allies. Here at Fort Dobbs, in the last week of February of 1760, the soldiers kept seeing Cherokee warriors on the hills around the fort. And Hugh Waddell would send out small parties to try to attack the Cherokee and bring them to battle, but the Cherokee would just fade away into the countryside, disappearing, frustrating the soldiers. Then on the night of February 27th, 1760, they heard dogs barking at about 8 or 9 o'clock at night down by the spring that's just behind me here. They assumed that there was a small party of Cherokee who, when they sent a small force out against them, would just run away like they'd been doing day after day after day. So Hugh Waddell, Captain Andrew Bailey, and 8 soldiers left the fort and marched across this field down to the spring, where they were surprised to find between 60 and 70 warriors waiting in ambush for them. The Cherokee opened fire, and the soldiers, Hugh Waddell having been trained by the Cherokee when they were allies in 1758, they knew how to react to this ambush. They immediately dropped to the ground and they held their fire. The guns that they're firing produce a big flame, and it's a big sign saying, "Here, shoot here." So they held their fire and they waited until the Cherokee were charging at them. They waited until the Cherokee were within 12 paces, 12 steps, and that's when they opened fire. Each one of their guns loaded with a musket ball and 7 buckshot. It's like firing shotguns at close range on the incoming Cherokee warriors. This shocked the Cherokee, and it caused their attack to falter, so the soldiers had a chance to start running back to the fort. And they ran across this field where they encountered a second line of Cherokee, according to the South Carolina Gazette. This second line of Cherokee had been positioned here to block the soldiers' retreat, and they had to fight their way through the second line of Cherokee, and they miraculously got all 10 men back inside of the fort. However, 2 of them were wounded. One so badly he died of his wounds almost a month after the battle, probably from infection. A young refugee child was also killed during the battle, and between 10 to 12 Cherokee warriors were slain or wounded as well. And the battle ended. It lasted maybe 15 minutes. It was incredibly short, violent, and terrifying, and then quiet. And it stayed quiet for a few days. And then the Cherokee began attacking all over western North Carolina. They just never attacked Fort Dobbs again. Stay tuned. Throughout the day, we'll have additional virtual programming. And at 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to provide a first-hand glimpse of what it might have been like to be a participant in the Battle of Fort Dobbs. Thank you.